Hello. So, I'm just doing a little bit of white sage before we jump into this reading. These are the 4 choices. So, I think we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So, pick 1, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4. Remember to use your own intuition to decide if one or more of these has a message for you to reflect on. And this reading is going to be focused on not so much the shadow work kind of stuff that usually pops out in my readings. So if you're used to my readings, then this is just going to be a little bit different. Maybe a little bit more like recognition rather than recognition of a shadow, but recognition of what you are, who you are. Okay, but of course it's a general reading, so it's not going to be all inclusive of everything you are, of course. It's just going to be some nice points that come to mind as I read the cards. So just take what's true for you, leave the rest, and let's get started. So this will be 4, 3, 2. So you picked Iris, which is, in the mythology, Iris is the rainbow bridge builder. If you do astrology, Iris is an asteroid that you can plug into your chart. She's number 7. And I know that there's different meanings of the rainbow bridge for different people. I think, some people call the rainbow bridge the bridge that their pets take when they go to heaven. But when I talk about the rainbow bridge, I'm talking about bridging the gap between lower density and higher density. Between basically the freedom of being without restriction and resistance, and that path you take to get there, which is a personal path for all of us. But let's take a look at what cards came for you. Okay, so which way were these cards? I'm gonna have to say they were this way. Okay. So these cards are supposed to be, who are you? Who are you? Page of Cups. Beautiful, pure-hearted, willing to believe in the impossible, limitless possibilities kind of King of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. I think that you're a very grounded person and you are financially stable. Maybe not as stable as you'd like to be, or if you are very stable, you're not very showy about it. I think you may have a pet, or you may have lost a pet. Interesting, because we did talk about that rainbow bridge there. And you may have a library, or libraries might appeal to you. You might be a reader. You're someone who will stick up for yourself. You've had to face many battles. And I think that you have retired many versions of yourself along the way. And remained pure, remained pure of heart. And I think that you have suffered loss for sure, but you are someone who doesn't burden others with that, I don't think. I think that you have sort of processed that by yourself a lot of times, and maybe people wouldn't even know about that process that you've gone through. So maybe you're a bit of a private person, and you may have traveled, you may want to travel, kind of like a worldly, like very cultured, very concerned with the world's affairs. And maybe someone who finishes what they start. Okay, am I getting anything else from this? You like to see the good in people. And it's not that you're not aware of the darkness or the shadows that are there. It's just that you've battled. You know kind of how to handle yourself in a difficult situation. Maybe you've even given up the battle now. Like battling isn't an effective means forward for you anymore. I think you want to be in the place where you can enjoy life. And that's why, this Page of Cups is showing like this willingness to go forward, into new territory, into a new situation, keeping your heart open, even giving people chances and chances, being very forgiving. But this is not to say you're a doormat at all. It's just that you're very strong. Okay, and what's going on with you? You may have some things that you are wanting to talk about. You are maybe struggling with some things internally, but again, not showing that to the outside world. Maybe dealing even with some very heavy stuff, anxiety, worry, fear, depression, or nightmares. But really depending on yourself and looking for new ways to kind of handle that. You're kind of going through a purging at this time. And it's because you've reached the point that you've dealt with enough that some more stuff is just saying like, yeah, it's time we can process this stuff. Okay, so what's going on with you? You've learned to accept your struggles as lessons. This is something that you are doing. And in doing so, you are an example to others and you are an inspiration to others. And that's a beautiful thing, because you are a beautiful example of somebody who's resilient and strong. And so someone else who sees you may know that they can do it too. When you are an example of someone who accepts the struggles as lessons, like meaning, I know I'm learning from this hard part, so I'm going to go through it. You're also a bold, take charge kind of person. You exude confidence. So you may not be flashy and showy and bold and show off and like seeking attention or anything like that, but just being that confident person, and you are, you are in the view of others who it matters to them that they get to see you. And I think that you are focused on knowing yourself. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. You are indulging in your creative endeavors. You're letting those painful experiences that you've been through inspire you towards solutions, and finding that you have what it takes every step of the way. You may be getting information in your dreams. This is a Archangel Michael card next, and it's more about a little bit of advice or acknowledgement. And he's saying pay attention to your dreams. So if you're not keeping a dream journal, that might be something beneficial to you. If you've never done dream analysis, you might want to look into it. The symbols in the dreams can be very telling to us, and also the feelings that we had in the dream. Also very telling. Okay, and then from a bigger picture view of you, we have lost lands, soul memories, and gifts. You've done this before. So it's saying you're an older soul. You've been on these cycles. You've done what you're doing before, and now you're here to do something with all of that. Activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you've been led. So you may find yourself being pushed to a different location, or the urge to even just go to the grocery store at a certain time. And these are things that you should be allowing yourself to respond to. Deep cellular healing, and we talked about that as well. You're kind of purging something now, and from the biggest picture view, it is recognizing that you are going through a physical and emotional healing, and that Arcturian energy is with you, and that this is a deep cellular healing, and that's why a lot of it's happening in your sleep state. But there'll be clues about the understanding of such, so that you can accept and move through when you pay attention to your dreams. So there's more in the dreams than that could be valuable to you going forward. Okay. So pick one. I think it's really beautiful that you are an example to others of what it is to stay out of victim mode and put yourself on this state of living, and doing it consciously, and doing it in a way that is sort of fearless. So thank you. Thank you so much for being an example to us all. Thank you for spending your time with me. That's going to complete your reading. Hi, pick 2. You chose perception. So we all have our own perception, and I don't know how this word ties into your reading yet, but let's see. The first set of cards are going to tell me about who you are. Knight of Wands in reverse. I think you're kind of reserved. Even when you feel passionate about something, you are not going to just go without a plan. You have a backup plan, and you have a plan, a backup plan, and you are maybe even self-focused, putting all your passionate energy into yourself. We got the Six of Swords. You may have some sense of obligation or duty to those around you. It may be for the company that you work for, maybe for the family that you're in. You keep things afloat. I don't think you like to show like your heart on your sleeve. I think you're keeping kind of your heart either shut or hidden. Maybe you feel, some of you have a blocked heart chakra, and others are just very reserved. All this reserved energy could be because of past experiences, or that you're just too spread thin, serving others at this point. The Magician in reverse, such a private person. Maybe you even practice your kind of rituals and sorcery, magic, healing. Maybe you're part of a secret club, but you do this in private. This isn't something a lot of people know about. You are very private. Yeah. Maybe you observe a lot, so your perception is very keen, and you're willing to entertain a lot of different perspectives. Let's see what else. I think you really are listening to yourself, and even though you have these responsibilities, you somehow balance that with listening to yourself, even though you're serving others and you have to listen to them too. You have people behind you that would back you up. Maybe in the distant past you did have your heart on your sleeve, or you did lead with love, but you're definitely not letting that lead you now. I think you are maybe into occultism. Maybe you don't like to talk or express yourself very much. You're a thinker, a problem solver, a strategist. Maybe that's why people are depending on you, because you've kind of shown that you can manipulate and handle things very naturally. That you are level-headed because you will hold yourself back, even if it's something that you feel like so strongly pulled towards. Alright, let's see what's going on with you right now. So, oh, that's the King of Wands. Wow, I was thinking it was the Knight of Wands. It's the King of Wands. And now we've got the King of Wands in reverse again for what you're going through. And this King of Wands is saying, like, maybe you're having a hard time holding back right now. There is something that's making you feel so impulsive. And you may even hold yourself to impossible standards right now. Oh, I dropped that card. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it right now. Let's try. Here it is. Okay. What else is going on with you? The Tower in reverse, yeah. Okay, so this thing that you're being pushed towards, right, that you're holding yourself back from currently, you've learned to hold yourself back from things. And now that you're being pushed towards this other thing, you're using that same old method, but it's not working as well. But what you're doing is, you're holding on for dear life, I feel like, to not act on this thing, because it's like it will cause a tower. It will kind of change everything for you. So we've got the Tower in reverse. You're holding back on a big change right now. Wow, and the Magician in reverse. So these talents that you have to naturally strategize and see the bigger picture and maneuver in ways that are helpful, that you utilize in your everyday life and for the benefit of others, it's also kind of biting you in a way at times, like if you have been manipulative with it at all. Like, it's kind of like coming back on you. But there's also something that you're learning through it. So if it comes back and bites on you, it's only so that you can learn something about that. It's like, oh, well, if you do it from this angle, and I think it's having to do with like the intention that you put with it, but that's your business. So that's very interesting. So you're learning something cool about how to use all this nice energy you have right now. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay, what have you been doing? Like attracts like. You've been attracting to you what you are. See, that's why, like, if you had been doing anything that was like lower density, it was coming right back to you to show you yourself. And then you're learning something from it because you're seeing it from another side, right? So like attracts like, meaning you're also attracting people who are not you putting their heart on their sleeve, who are being secretive, who will not act on their impulses, and who are serving other people, perhaps generously. So that's something to think about. You attract what you are, and you are doing that. You are full of imagination. You're a dreamer. You can immerse yourself in a dreamy, fantastical vision, and you may be very artistic and creative, or feeling like it at this time, even if it's just with your mind. In your mind, you're completely free from any of these restraints. I think in your mind you can even use your heart very freely. And you're a forgiving person. I think that you are forgiving yourself, and you're able to forgive others and let go of judgments. Like, I don't think you're holding on to burdens and things like that. I think you're finding those things kind of very heavy, and you've graduated from the part of you that needed to hold on to those things. You may be relocating and working on making your dreams come true. Yeah. So those dreams, you are dreaming them up for them to come into reality. And a new location may play into that as well. Let's see what Archangel Michael has for advice. Keep your eyes on your targeted intention, right? So as you face the obstacles that you're going to face, just keep focusing on the outcome. And use your imagination and you'll see the answer. Isn't that wonderful? Because you are such a strategist and you are a magician. And that imagination is how you speak to all your cells and get them on board with the plan so that they can vibrate to the resonance that will be a match to what it is that you are imagining. This is very powerful, powerful energy that you have. Your perception is everything. Yes, perception has everything to do with this reading, because your perception is literally your power. What you are perceiving, what you are imagining, what you are focused on is what you create. Wow, I've got chills and it's beautiful. All right, let's see the bigger picture view. Earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down, time in nature. Okay, so as you go through this process, it's saying like get away from the electronics and all that and slow right down. So make sure you're able to be present with everything that you are and everything that you feel and everything that you imagine, because this is going to help you really sort things out. Your life is a canvas. I think you know that, right? And I think you've been working on it. Artist manifestation, creative accountability, meaning what you're creating, you are the creator of it. What you have in your life right now, you created it. All of this is your creation, this whole entire life. That's how powerful you are. So that's why you've been learning these lessons about the way to use your manifestation abilities, and how manipulation will actually kind of backfire for you, and which is not a bad or wrong lesson. It doesn't make you wrong. It means you've learned something valuable. The golden children. Inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. And it's basically saying here that what you'll find when you have this more secure standing is that this King of Cups, that you've kind of, I have the phrase coming to mind, you put baby in the corner. You're going to take baby out of the corner, meaning like you're going to let yourself be that tender being who is okay to sit in feelings when they arise, and who lets those influence the canvas that's being created. So this is what the bigger picture view shows, that this is what you're doing, and what a powerful, beautiful process you are amidst. Thank you for letting me take a look and a feel into this, because I just want to like bask in it. It feels really nice. Thank you for spending your time with me. That will conclude your reading. I picked 3. I'm just going to do a little white sage before we continue. I don't know why. Oh, I thought I left that on the board, but no, that's part of the cards for your reading. Okay. So let's get started then. This is the Listen to Fear pile, so this reading necessarily isn't about that, but you may have something where you've started to tune into your fears so that you could resolve them. These cards are facing me, so that King of Wands is actually in reverse. And this King of Wands in reverse keeps to himself, but could be rather kind of out for himself, you know? Now we've got the Queen of Cups also in reverse. 4 of Pentacles, but it's in reverse. Okay. And the Page of Cups. Huh. Upright. Alright, let me feel this out for a second here. I think that you are a passionate person with leadership abilities, and I think that you've been hurt, and I think that you maybe even got, I'm going to use the terminology or the phrase, screwed over, meaning like for a while maybe you were even a bit like miserly or selfish, but maybe you've been trying to come out of that and trying to lead with your heart. You have a very big heart. You have a big passionate drive. You have practice in giving freely to others. But for some reason, it's like you're starting out in this place of like taking a leap of faith with your heart. And maybe this is where listening to fear is coming out, because like as people go, you're a solid person and you have all these great qualities of strength and love and passion and drive and resources. But it's like you're a baby when it comes to using an unstrategied method of going forward. Like taking a leap of faith is not your usual method of transportation. You know, I think you normally plan things out and look at all the things that could go wrong and have a backup plan and all that, but right now, I think you're trying something new, maybe being forced to step into some sort of territory where your heart is the only way you can go in. I just heard maybe you have a new baby or something. Like, it's like something, so there's something baby about this, right? It's something like Aries energy, the Fool energy. It's something like just starting out, a pioneer. You are pioneering. From the way that you were, you're pioneering a new way. Ah, yes. You are a pioneer, an experienced, established one in an old way, an old paradigm that is crumbling. Oh, yes. All right. Beautiful. Okay. So you listened to the fear and you said, okay, this is no way to live. I've built on a foundation of doing this and that to avoid fearful things. What can love do for me? Where is love going to take me? What does my heart say about this? Wow, so gorgeous. Oh, I just want to clap. I love it. Okay. What's going on with you right now? Let us see. What's going on right now? We've got Seven of Swords in reverse. So maybe you feel like all these doubts that are like telling you can't do it or it's not going to work or whatever, and you're having to kind of deal with those, right? Like, who are you to think that you can do this or something like that kind of thing. Now this is just a thing that's happening right now. You know, it's not like who you are. You are a fool willing to take a leap of faith but haven't taken the leap yet. You may be talking about it, and when you do it, you might like just do it because like you know, take a running start and just go, or it's kind of impulsive thing, just to kind of break out of the whole planned stuff that you normally would have done. But you are coming into this beautiful balance in your emotions by offsetting the way that you were operating and by allowing this part of you. Oh. And being willing, like talking yourself into the place where you'd be willing to take the leap of faith. Oh my gosh. It's like you're maturing a part of yourself that got left behind right now. That's what you're doing. Yeah, you have come to the end of a cycle, and you may have put off this ending of the cycle for a long time, while you were kind of trying out all the other possibilities, you know? And it's because it's not without pain. Like, you know that once you start operating from this other place, things are going to change, and there's going to be some loss, and you're going to have to face some of the feelings that you hadn't let yourself kind of fully feel. I think that you got jaded a bit along the way, and you acted in ways that a jaded person would act maybe, and like now you're like being with those parts of yourself, and you know that it kind of hurts at times because those parts of yourself were pained, and now that you're letting them come to the surface and being with them, there's that pain that you're processing. So you're listening to your fear, meaning you're being the adult to your childhood wounds, or your heartbreak wounds. Really beautiful. Okay, what are you doing? I feel like you have utilized your support system. You know, those around you that are supportive, I think you are reaching out to them. You may have a counselor, you may be in therapy, and you may also be kind of in a community that's very supportive to you, or in in kind of trust with God in a way, feeling guided. You have great courage, and also when there's something you want, you ask for it. You're able to express yourself. These are all great qualities that you acquired before this time in your life. You have a vision and a dream that you're going for, I think this is a step to get there, but it's, you're not treating those feelings like they're just a step to get there either, right? Because that would be very important. So you also may be having dreams that are very telling right now. You are spending time in solitude and quiet, maybe by the water, in the forest, maybe by a waterfall, just contemplating, maybe meditating, maybe playing chess. I don't know why that came. Kick up your heels. The playing chess, I feel like, is a way to let your mind be busy in a way that's not harmful to you, or strategizing, or doing the old way. It's like a way to break patterns. And I think you're still letting yourself have fun, getting back to that childhood state of leading with your heart and willingness to have fun. Or maybe you've always been able to have fun, and now you're just letting this part of you have fun too. You're seeing possibilities where you didn't see them before. Archangel Michael is mentioning that you are guarded and protected, and that's because you have your own back. That's why you're protected. You're protected because you're protecting yourself. You're guarded because you aren't alone, And then we have portal. Doors are opening. You decide. Rewards and wild card. Yeah, you don't know what the reward is going to be. But this is a free will kind of move that you have to make, and it looks like you've used your free will to shift things for yourself now. And it's your free will that gets you out of any fearful pattern or any coping strategy that you've adopted to avoid anything that you were fearing to feel or experience. So this is all you, and everything is dependent on the choices you make, and each choice you make is a portal to another timeline, really, another space in your journey, another lesson to be had, another adventure to have, another experience, another perception is what I was going to say as well. So what you're doing right now is basically preparing yourself to leap when the time is right, when you see the decision is in your hands and it's time to make it. You'll be ready. Maybe you weren't ready before, but now is another chance to be ready, and it looks like you're getting ready. So, beautiful. Well, pick 3. Remember, this is just information to reflect on. I want to thank you for spending your time with me. I know you have some quiet time to enjoy, and so I appreciate you taking some time out from that. And I'm going to end your reading there. Hey, pick 4. So as I start this reading, I have that little, I heard it on TikTok. It's a little clip that people are using with some of their posts, and it's that song, I'm carrying your love with me. So I heard that as we get started here, so that could be relevant here. Free will. Free will is the key to most things good. I like it. All right. Who are you? Pick 4. Let's see. Ace of Wands, a passionate, driven person who is willing to take chances, who is guided maybe by this bigger vision, a spiritual vision, who is willing to network and willing to put down roots and willing to, you kind of see how things all tie together and how there's this bigger thing going on here. I think you are a person who is perhaps passionate about your spiritual practices, being creative. Someone who carries a lot of pain that people would never know about, or you've healed from a lot of pain that people would never know about. Perhaps that is your muse, like what propels you to create. Could be your pain. You've suffered a great loss in your life that perhaps some know about, but you are well known as well. You have quite a reputation for victory and success. You're known for what you do, for your passion. Maybe some know you for your pain. And you are someone who feels like you haven't reached fulfillment yet, but you are working towards it. Or maybe you get your fulfillment from something that's very internal, not from the outside, not from the onlookers or the people who know you or the reputation you have, but from the resilience that you know the resilient, strong being that you know yourself to be. Okay? And what's going on with you? You're doing it all, carrying the burden. Yeah, you are carrying burdens, and maybe that's becoming more apparent to you at this time. But you are kind of loving yourself through it. And so if you're breaking out of old patterns of carrying pain or coping with pain, you're using your free will to do so. So you've kind of cracked the code that way. And you are able to sustain yourself, keep afloat, take care of your day-to-day stuff, all while reparenting and nurturing yourself through heavy burdens. Wow. And also, I think you know you're working towards something really great, but it just seems like you're still working towards it, right? It's like maybe you're even just like looking to enjoy the process a lot because you know you haven't gotten to the final destination. Yeah. So what are you like? You make each day count. So whatever you're faced with in the day, whether it be a day for tackling wounds, a day for tackling your day-to-day chores or responsibilities or work, or being out there in the public, you put your all into each day, whatever it may be. You are in the process of purifying. You know very well how to do it. And you have cleared out the clutter. Maybe you continuously downsize your belongings, or you declutter your mind. Both of those things probably correlate to each other. And you spend a lot of time being creative, and you feel very adept at it. You feel in your comfort zone there. And when you have feelings arise, you honor them, and you let your expression you let your creative expression be sort of catharsis for you at times. You are definitely in touch with your higher consciousness. So third eye and crown chakra open. And you are very friendly, willing to meet new friends, make friends out of strangers. If you go to a social event or if you're in front of people speaking, I think you're very open, warm, loving, and I think that you are in love with humanity. Wow. Archangel Michael has a little bit of advice, and it is make a commitment. So perhaps at this time, using your free will to commit to something that you more left in a creative process or a chaotic state. If you commit to it, if you commit to something, then you can ground it. I think that's going to be very helpful for you at this time. And then the big picture view, we have karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. So this is some sort of reassurance that from the bigger picture view, the heartbreak and even the standing in front of others and having the reputation that you have, it's all karmic. So all the feelings and experiences that you're having that are associated with it are there for a very specific reason. And I think that you know this, and I think this is just sort of like confirmation or reassurance that it's true. Like what you're working through is it's a very deep study, a mastery of many different aspects of what it is to be those things, to have those experiences, and to do humanity as you have done. Meaning going through a human life and subjecting yourself to the pain and purifying afterwards and keeping up your day-to-day life and being an example to others, and yeah, just being very diligent at what you're putting your efforts towards. And in that beautiful state of creation, being inspired to new things, new ways, new understandings of stuff that you have wanted to understand more fully when you came to Earth this time. Okay, so free will is really tied here because free will is the way that you break out of conditions. And in order to master something, you'd have to look at all sides of it. So breaking out of conditions is a big part of that. And freeing yourself from karmic patterns, which are basically the same as conditions, is a big part of that. So you came equipped with what you needed. That's kind of like this creativity, preserve your sanity, your resilience and strength, assure that you can get done what you need to, and your free will assures that you can use all of those things in order to break free from patterns that are existing with looping energy that you're looking to study further. Yes, okay. Alright, I'm going to complete your reading there. I want to remind you that it's just information to reflect on. Only take what's helpful to you, and thank you for spending your time with me.